Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? I hope you'd be fine. This is Think New Syllabus Mathematics Books 1. Today we are going to discuss the remaining questions of exercise 7b of linear equations. So watch the video till the end and do not skip the video. In the earlier video, we discussed about how to convert these statements into equations. And now we are going to figure out that what do we have to do in these type of questions. Question number 6 says the sum of two numbers. I told you earlier when there is a term used as sum or difference or product, so they reflect or they expresses certain operations. Sum means to add, difference means to subtract, product means to multiply. So if they're saying the sum of two numbers, it means, let us say the two numbers are, if they're not given, then the two numbers are x and y. Okay. Suppose the two numbers are x and y, then even before going forward, we can say that the sum of two numbers would be x plus y, one of which is 2/3 of the other. This is a parenthesis used over here. You can say that commas are giving us some extra information about that two numbers, but their sum is 45. So we can say x plus y is equals to 45, in which one of the number is x, the other one is y. Now let's see, what does this parenthesis telling us? That one of which, that is, if let's say x is 2/3 of the other. So we can say that given that one of them, that is one of the numbers is 2/3 of the other. What does it mean? It means, let us suppose one of the number is x. Okay. Then the other number would be 2/3 of x. So we can say that if x is the first number, the other number is y. Okay. So in these two numbers, we can say that the first number is x and the other number is y. Now they're giving us the information about the other number. So they're saying that one number is 2/3 of the other. You can suppose any of the number as the first, any of the number as the other. Okay. So you can write it as x is equals to 2/3 of y, or y is equals to 2/3 of x, since there is no other information provided for these numbers. So we can suppose any of them as any. So this is 2/3 of the other means 2/3. Of means multiply, other means other number. So we can say that y is equals to 2/3 of x, which is y is equals to 2/3x. Now, I told you in the previous video as well that whenever we make the two videos, what we do, we just substitute the value of any variable that we have supposed in one of the equations into another. So the two equations over here are x plus y is equals to 45. How we can solve them? We will simply take this equation, x plus y is equals to 45. And since we have found the value of y in terms of x, which is 2/3 of x, so I'm going to write x as it is. But in place of y, I'm going to write 2/3 x is equals to 45. And now I'm going to solve this equation. And after solving this equation, I'll come up with the value of x. After finding the value of x, I'll find the value of y, and then we will figure out that which of the number is smaller as required in the question. So since there is a fraction involved, what we will do, we will put a 1 over here, make the denominator same as we used to do while solving the linear equations. It becomes 3x upon 3 plus 2x upon 3 is equals to 45. After that, it would be 5x upon 3 is equals to 45. Then I'll multiply 45 with 3. It becomes 5x is equals to 45 multiplied by 3, which is 135. And then finally, I'll get the value of x as 135 upon 5, which is equals to 5 2s are 12, 5 7s are 35. That is 27. It means out of the two numbers, one is 27. Now let us find out what would be the other number. Since we have already been provided with the value of y in terms of x as y is equals to 2/3x. So I'm going to take this equation Substitute the value of x over here. It becomes 2 upon 3 multiplied by 27. And then I'll simplify it. So you can multiply 27 with 2 first, you'll get 54, and then you can divide it with 3. But I'm going to divide first, that is, I'm going to simplify it first. 3 ones are 3, 3 nines are 27, and the answer to this would be 8. It means out of the two numbers having a sum of 45, one number is 27, the other one is 18. If you will add 27 with 18, you will get the answer 45, and 18 is the 2/3 of 27. So all the conditions are satisfied. We can say that the smaller of the two is 18. Right? If they would have asked us find the greater number, so the answer would be 27. But in this case, where we have to find out the smallest number, it would be 18. Okay. Next question says when a number x is multiplied by 4. Okay. It says when a number x is multiplied by 4, then subtracted from 68. I have told you many times earlier that when there is subtraction involved, the number after from or after by would come first. We can say that 68 minus x multiplied by 4, which is 4x. Right? X multiplied by 4 is equals to 4x. What are they saying? They are saying when a number x is multiplied by 4, and after that, after getting the product of 4x, it is subtracted from 68. So the equation would be 68 minus 4x. The result, that is whatever the answer comes over here, is the same. Is the same means the result obtained is the same means is equals to 3 times means 3 multiplied by the sum of means 3 times the sum of x and 4. In this case, I have to write it down over here. 3 times the sum of x and 4 means let me write down two expressions over here so it would become easier for you to understand. 3 times the sum of x and 4 and the sum of 3 times of x and 4 are two different statements. In this one, the sum of x and 4 would come inside the bracket. That is, according to BODMAS rule, we have to solve x plus 4 first, then we have to multiply it by 3. But here in this case, the sum of 3 times of x, 3 times of x and 4 would be added. So you see the difference? In this case, I will get 3x plus 12, and here I will have 3x plus 4. So these are some of the basic things that you have to account for while solving these types of questions. Okay? So keeping it inside the bracket is very important. And after doing this, we have come up with an equation. Now all we need to do is to solve it. So let's see how to solve it. 68 minus 4x couldn't be simplified further since both are unlike terms. But on the other hand, we will have 3 multiplied by x plus 4, where we'll apply the distributive law. It becomes 3x plus 12. After that, what are we going to do? We will shift this 3x to the left-hand side. So it would be 68 minus 4x minus 3x is equals to 12. And then I'll shift this 68 to the right-hand side. So minus minus plus, it will give me minus 7x is equals to 12 minus 68. Now I just have to solve it. So the answer would be minus 7x. 12 minus 68 would be 56. And the answer would be negative because 68 is negative, which is greater. And later on, I will do it like x is equals to minus 56 upon minus 7. Minus minus cut. 7 ones are 7, 7 eights are 56. So the final answer would be x is equals to 8. It means that number would be 8. Let's check. if we have got the correct answer or not. They were saying when a number x is multiplied by 4. So let us multiply 8 by 4. The answer to this would be 32. Then subtract it from 68. Now let us subtract it from 68. So it will be 36. The result obtained, this is the result, is the same as 3 times 3 multiplied by the sum of x, which is 8 and 4. So let's add 8 and 4, we will get 12. Now multiply it by 3. The answer is exactly the same. It means we have got the correct value of x. Now the next question says, in a school, the number of boys who play soccer is 3 times the of those who play badminton. So let us suppose soccer players as S, soccer players is equals to S, and who play badminton as B. We don't know the number of soccer players nor the number of badminton players, but they're saying the number of boys who play soccer is, means S is equals to 3 times of B. So the equation would be this. That is, whatever the number of badminton players are, we will multiply it by 3. So we will get the number of soccer players. For example, if there are 10 badminton players, so according to the statement, there would be 3 multiplied by 10, 30 soccer players. This is the ratio of the soccer players and the badminton players. That is 3:1. Okay. Next, they're saying if 12 boys who play soccer play badminton instead. Now, what they're saying, if 12 boys, that is, who were playing soccer earlier, are shifted towards badminton side. So what is happening over here? Whatever the number of soccer players were earlier, you will subtract it by 12 because 12 players are removed from soccer team. And the same 12 players are added to the badminton team. Then they're saying the number of boys who play each of these sports would be the same. So what they mean, they are saying that if you will subtract S by 12 and add B by 12, okay? Because the total number of soccer players are S and the total number of badminton players are B. And what is happening over here, when we are subtracting 12 from soccer players and adding that 12 to the badminton players, the teams of the two players are becoming the same. That is, the number of players on each side would be the same. When I will subtract S with 12 and add B with 12. Now we have to find out the number of boys who play badminton. So what am I going to do? I'll use this equation. But how am I going to use this? I'll substitute the value of S with 3B. And it becomes 3B minus 12 is equals to B plus 12. These two equations are very important and their application. That is how you are going to use these equations. Making the equation is the very important part. And after that, evaluating the values and trying to understand that what do we have to do in this particular question, it's very important. Now, when we will solve this B will be shifted over here and it becomes 3B minus B. Similarly, 12, when we will shift this minus 12 to the other side, it will become plus 12. So it would be 3B minus B is equals to 2B is equals to 24 and B is equals to 24 upon 2, which is 12. It means there are 12 badminton players. You see how easily we solve this, and now we can check it as well. If there are 12 badminton players, then there would have been 3 times, that is 36 soccer players, right? This was the first statement where we were provided with the relation that the soccer player is 3 times that of the badminton player. So it means earlier we would have 12 badminton players and 3 times of badminton players as 36 players for the soccer ones. And after that, when we will remove 12 players from soccer team, so we will have 24 players in the soccer team, and we had 12 players earlier. When these 12 players from the soccer team will be added to the badminton team, they will also turn 24. And you can see this was provided in the question that if 12 boys who play soccer play badminton instead, the number of boys who play each of these sports would be the same. And you can see that it's been proved that after 12 boys shifted from soccer team to the badminton team, the total number of players on either sides became 24. Earlier it was 12 is to 36, and now it became 24 is to 24. Okay, next question seems to be quite tricky, but keep in mind that whatever difference is between two persons' age, it remains constant. That is, for example, when I was born, my mother was 20 years old. So this age gap, this age difference would remain constant. That whatever age would be mine, my mother's age would be 20 years older. That is, if I will add 20 into my age, I will easily calculate my mother's age at any point in time. Okay, so this is the basic concept of this question. Now let's read this question. It says a man is 6 times as old as his son. So first of all, there are two quantities. So what we are going to do, we will suppose the age of son is S. Now, okay, why am I writing now? Because there is a time lapse over here. Then they're saying a man is 6 times, and the age of man is equals to m. So the relation between the age of man and the age of son would be a man is m is 6 times 6 multiplied by as old as his son, 6 multiplied by s. This is the equation. M is equals to 6s. Like if the son is 2 years old right now, the man would be 2 multiplied by 6, that is 12 years old. Similarly, if the son is 10 years old, the man would be 10 multiplied by 6, 60 years old. So whatever is the age of son right now, the man's age would be 6 times that of his son. 20 years later, now, they are telling us the age right now as S and M. So their ages after 20 years would be S plus 20 and M plus 20. Because as we grow on, the number gets added to our ages. Okay, then they're saying after 20 years, what is happening? The man will be twice as old as his son. So let's say that their current ages are S and M. We can say their current ages are S and M. So after 20 years, the man's age, that is, after 20 years, the man's age would be M plus 20, right? And this age, M plus 20 will be, that is equals to twice. Twice means 2 multiplied by 2 times as old as his son. So after 20 years, his son's age would also be added with 20. They are basically trying to say that whatever is the age of his son would be after 20 years. When we will double it, the age of the man would be equal to that. This is what this statement means. The man will be twice as old as his son after 20 years. So if their ages are S and M right now, their ages would be M plus 20 and S plus 20 after 20 years. And what would be the relation between their ages then? The difference between them would be that the man's age would be twice that of the son's age. Now, when we will solve this equation, we'll come to know their ages, that is both of man and son. But what we have to do, we have to use this equation. How? We will substitute the value of m with 6s. 6s plus 20 is equals to 2s plus 40. Because until and unless we'll substitute the values, we will evaluate, we cannot solve the equation. We cannot find the values of any of the unknowns since there are two different unknowns. Now I'll shift this 2s to the left hand side and 20 to the right hand side. It becomes 6s minus 2s is equals to 40 minus 20. And then it would be 4s is equals to 20 and s is equals to. Now here a question arises that we are getting 5 as the son's age. But just think for a moment that which age have we calculated? Is it the current age, the age right now, or is it the age after 20 years? So if you read the question once again, you'll come up that we suppose the age of the son now as S. It means the son is 5 years old. Okay. So if the son is 5 years old right now, his father would be 6 times his age, that is 30. So the age gap between them would be 30 minus 5, which is 25. And this is what the question requires, that find the age of the man when his son was born. Like if the son is 5 years right now and his father is 30 years, so it means when he was born 5 years back, 5 years ago, his father would be 30 minus 5, that is 25. So you can calculate it either ways as you like. So what I'll do, I'll write man's age is equals to 6s, which means 6 multiplied by 5 is equals to 30. It means man is 30 years right now. So his age when his son was born because when the son was have been born, his age would be 0 years. Because when a child borns, he is of no years. So the man's age would be 30 minus 5, 25 years. It means when the man was 25 years old, his son was born. So after 5 years, he became 30 years old and his son became 5 years old. And if he is 30 years old right now, after 20 years, the man would be 50 years old and his son would be 5 plus 20, 25 years old. And you can check that after 20 years, the man's age would be double that of his son's age, because his son would be 25 and he would be 50, which is the double of 25. So this is how you can check the answers, that if you have got the correct answers or. Now the next question, it's very simple, very interesting. Let's see what's in there. A chocolate cake cost $2 more than a butter cake. What does it mean? It means, okay, before solving this question, let us first suppose cost of chocolate cake is X and butter cake is Y. You can suppose, you can take any of the letters. Now they're saying they're giving us the difference, the amount of difference, not the accurate amount of either of them. That is, they're not providing us with the cost of chocolate cake or the butter cake. They are telling us that there is a difference of $2. A chocolate cake costs $2 more than a butter cake. So we can say that if a chocolate cake, that is X, is 2 more means 2 plus butter cake means Y. This is the statement that we have to make. If the chocolate cake cost $2 more than a butter cake. Let's say if the butter cake is $10, then the chocolate cake would be 10 plus 2, $12. If the butter cake is $15, then the chocolate cake would be 15 plus 2, $17. If the butter cake would be $100, then the chocolate cake would be 100 plus $2. So you have to understand these terms. Then when there would be terms like 2 more than, 2 less than, or 2 times, so these are all different types of terms. Sometimes we have to add, sometimes we have to subtract, sometimes we have to multiply, or sometimes we have to divide. So more than means add, less than means subtract, times means multiply. Then they're saying the cost of 6 chocolate cupcakes. So the cost of 6 chocolate cupcakes would be, and 5 butter cakes. If we have to find out the total cost of any number of units, what do? We simply multiply the cost of one unit with that number of units. So if the cost of one chocolate cake is X, the cost of 6 chocolate cakes would be 6x. Like if the cost of one chocolate cake is X, so for any number of chocolate cupcakes, the total value would be that particular number multiplied by X. So if there are 6 chocolate cupcakes, 6 chocolate cakes, the total cost would be 6 multiplied by X. Whatever is the cost of one chocolate cupcake, we will multiply it by 6 to find the total cost. Similarly, the total cost of 5 butter cakes would be 5y, right? And then they have told us the total value as 130.8. That is, when we will add 6x and 5y, we will get the answer as 130.80. Next, they are saying that x is equals to 2 plus y. So what are we going to do? After making this equation, this is the second step. We have to substitute the value of this variable, right? So we will substitute the value over here with x as 2 plus y. We will write it in bracket. I keep on repeating that whenever there is addition or subtraction involved and you have to multiply it by other number, you have to keep it inside the bracket or your answer would be different and it would be wrong. Okay, so it would be 6 twos are 12 plus 6y plus 5y is equals to 130.8. 6 plus 5 is equals to 11y, and we will shift this 12 to the other side. It becomes 130.8 minus 12. And now when we will subtract it, we will get the answer as 11, 8.8, 118.8. So what will I do next? We will divide 11, 8. So the answer to this would be 11 ones are 11. Then we will put 8 down. But since we cannot divide 8 with 11, so we will put a 0 over here. And then we will put another 8 down. And since there is a decimal point, so we'll put a decimal over here. Then we will divide it like this. 11 8s are 88. So the answer to this would be 10.8. It means y is equals to 10.8. And what did we suppose as X? It was the cost of a butter cake. But we have to find out the cost of a chocolate cake. So what are we going to do next? We will use this equation X is equals to 2 plus Y. Substitute the value of Y as 10.8 and it becomes 12.8. It means the cost of one butter cupcake is $10.8 and that of one chocolate cake is $12.8. There is a difference of $2, hence proved. And when you will multiply 10.8, the answer to this would be, since there are 5 butter cakes, so we will multiply 10.8 with 5. We will get the answer as 54. It means the total cost of 5 butter cupcakes or butter cakes is $54. And we have 6 chocolate cakes. So we will multiply 12.8 with 6. And the answer to this would be 76.8. It means the cost of 6 chocolate cakes is 76.8. And when we will add, the total would be 130.80. So is that clear, students? This is how we have to solve these type of questions. All you need to do is to do a lot of practice, because practice will give you confidence, will help you in figuring it out that where do we have to add, where do we have to subtract, what are the steps involved in these type of questions, and much more. So we have discussed the question number 10. Inshallah, in the next video, we are going to solve few more questions. Until then, do subscribe to my channel. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Take care. Allah Hafiz.